such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. As Big Brother continues to clamp down on conservative Christian views on the platforms, we just want to remind you, go to For Such a Time as This .today, For Such a Time as This .today. There you will be able to always see our new content as we continue to look at this evolving world through a biblical lens. Okay, just want to do some two quick hitters dealing with the state of Black America and just getting some reaction. And as always, we welcome friend to the show, Stephanie Trussell. How are you, Stephanie?
I am awesome. How are you? Thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Good. So here we'll have two things. One, this week, I'll show the picture here. Chauvin, how do you pronounce his name? Chauvin?
Chauvin. Some people say Chauvin.
Shauvin. Chauvin. Chauvin's verdict. He is being taken into custody. You see it there. What is your reaction to the Chauvin's being found guilty on all three accounts, Stephanie?
Well, again, all of us that couldn't get through the video watched the video.
Yeah.
And I think most of the world agree, most of the United States, no matter what color you are, and no matter what political party you're associated with,
Yep.
you felt like that was tough to watch. And and he went too far, obviously, costing the life of George Floyd. And the verdict, I guess, is obviously not surprising. Well, we know that the jurors didn't have a choice. Had they just looked at the evidence and decided, well, maybe the defense made an argument about the amount of drugs in his system and all that.
I was about to ask you that. Did you see any of the defense, Stephanie? And did not the defense move you to question whether or not he died because of Chauvin's actions?
Wasn't his girlfriend one of the first witnesses, and she was talking about their drug use, and it wasn't a secret. They knew what his history was and how many times he'd been arrested and everything else. So had that jury taken into consideration anything else, what would have happened to them? They'd be doxxed, they'd be canceled, they'd have to go into the witness protection program because, again, the judge knew what he was doing by letting them go home for that long weekend. And they got to be exposed to the media. They got to be exposed to the protests and what was going on and the heated rhetoric outside. They got to hear Maxine Waters talking about, what she usually does. Yeah. She's inciting violence, saying, well, we got, what she said before about Trump supporters and Republicans. Don't let them, they can't eat. They can't go out to dinner. And she was saying, no, we need murder. We need this verdict to come back such and such a way. Yep. And then we have Jim Crow Joe out of the White House, saying, similar words about, this ridiculousness. And I don't know, Pastor, you probably watched them a lot more than me. What part about this entire incident had to do with race? Was he saying ninja when he was bleeding on his neck? Was he saying die, ninja, die? I don't know what the race had to do with it.
Wasn't his wife black?
I don't remember that because I remember that story. But
she was a woman of color.
She was something.
Yeah, so
I don't love to say, right.
But remember, anytime a black man dies, and again, listen, that video was very difficult. I mean, when I saw it from the very beginning, I think our initial reaction was simply, man, you killed him. I mean, you put your knee on his neck. Now, again, you listen. I looked at a little bit of the trial. When the prosecutor says after they checked and he did not have a pulse, the knee remained on the neck for some time afterwards. And I'm like, ooh, I didn't hear that.
Right.
If that's true, that's a problem. That's a big, big problem. But then you hear the defense, and you go back and forth. The defense brought up some things. Again, I think it's hard to look at the video and think that he didn't go too far. I mean, that's pretty difficult. But there's other factors that play into this. One, if you listen to Candace Owens, correct me if I'm wrong, Candace Owens said that the videos that he was convicted on was from bystanders on cell phones, and that they refused to release the police body cam. Did you hear that? Did you know
I
that?
hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
No.
the video that we saw, at least that's what Candace Owens saying. Don't
Oh,
ding me on
right.
that.
And she has a lot of credibility on the
Yeah,
line. I don't
she
think she
does.
would
She
say
does.
something. They're
And
waiting for her to trip up, and so they can
yeah,
cancel
and
her,
so
right? So,
again,
hmm
boy, that's a problem. That's a problem
right.
if the Minneapolis Police Department refused to release the body cams from the police. Why? Why would you do that? Get all the
I don't
evidence if
understand
you're
it. Right.
the fact that, remember the witness for the defense who got a nice fresh coat of pig's blood on their house. You familiar with that,
hmm
right?
Right. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
pig head and
hmm
stuff. That
Right.
and the fact that he did not sequester the the jury, they heard that, and I'm sure every juror is like,
Right.
I don't want pig's blood on my
I don't need
house.
that.
Yeah,
I don't
I
need
don't
that
want a
in my
pig's
life.
head to go through my window. I mean,
Right.
again,
People already hate, Pastor, people hate jury duty because,
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't pay you your full salary. You're there, you're
yeah,
away from your family. You're not going to get anybody to want to serve now.
yeah, yeah,
That if they look at the evidence
yeah,
and come back with their
yeah.
true and honest assessment of how it
That's
went,
right.
that's it. Black Lives Matter, those whole
That's right.
Antifa groups will be at your house, will
Yeah,
be in your subdivision, in front
yeah,
of your house,
yeah,
saying that you got it all wrong. And you know what? We think about the police officer, and I know they've talked about his record. He didn't have a pristine record.
yeah.
But whenever these cops,
Horrible record.
I don't even like to use the word cops, these police officers, because I truly respect them. And most police officers are very good
Yes.
people because they are doing something I would never do. I don't know about you, Pastor. When I hear chaos, I run in the other direction. Those people run toward the,
Yeah.
chaos and crazy. And you
Yeah.
wonder, well, somebody with a less than a pristine police record, why weren't they fired? They never talk about how these police unions make these contracts where it's almost impossible to fire a bad police officer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like when you try to fire a bad Chicago teacher. Forget about it. That
Yeah.
union contract is so ironclad
Yeah.
that nothing you can do. You can barely discipline them.
Yeah.
And you can have a paper trail.
Yeah.
So maybe he should have been let go a long
Yeah.
time ago because again, police officers are just like teachers, lawyers, and you've got a few bad apples in the bunch.
Yeah.
But every time a teacher gets caught molesting a student, I don't hear anybody saying, let's shut them all down.
Defund schools.
Let's
Defund
defund
schools.
schools. Let's redo
Defund the
it,
teachers.
and let's,
Yeah.
right, let's get some more training. I mean, 'cause
Because
we know
yeah.
that most teachers are good, and
Yeah.
that's just a
Yeah.
poor example
Yeah.
of one or two
Yeah.
incidents. Exactly.
But for Marxists to take over, they've got to defund the police. See, that's why
Oh, they have to.
That's what.
I mean, it's just that
And it's
simple.
not
But
defund the police. It's defund local police so that they can
right.
set up a Gestapo led
Yes,
by more
they want
centralized.
federal
But anyway,
police to
yeah.
come in and enforce everything else. But
Get rid of
as we
neighborhood
learned from
policing.
the Marxists, we learned from the Marxist leader of Black Lives Matter, Patrice, who
Patrice
there's a video
Cullors.
of them
Yeah.
bragging about being Marxist.
Yep.
But then when she's
Yep.
questioned about buying a home, well, suddenly she's not a Marxist anymore. She's all about. She sounds more like Donald Trump. She's putting her family first.
Yeah.
And
Invest in her
that's what she's
family.
doing. And you just.
Yeah.
How dare you even question her because she's, but you know what? These areas that they move into, they're not areas that will defund the police, first of all. And there are areas that Black Lives Matter protests couldn't penetrate the wall to get in to protest
If
her.
they wish they came, if they sniffed that neighborhood.
Thank you. That's it. But you know what? They keep telling us how racist America is. LeBron James, Michelle Obama.
Yet they live in white neighborhoods.
But they live in white neighborhoods. I don't see them living in Compton and Harlem
Go to Compton.
I don't get that. They just crack me up. And LeBron James says that black men are hunted in this country.
Hunted.
So when you want to be in a black neighborhood, when you
move
want
to
to go be
Crenshaw.
in the hood and just thank you. He lives in a multi-million-dollar home in Bel Air.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy is
They don't know.
deafening, but
They don't believe it, Stephanie.
Supporters don't care.
They don't.
I know the supporters don't call them out on their hypocrisy. They don't.
And that's what kills me. Again,
shoulders.
Black people being used as political tools.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it is.
And we just this 16-year-old girl, Ma'Khia Bryant, that latest story.
Let me show you the video. Let me show the video because the George Floyd thing it's one thing. That's
right.
the video
it's
again is tough to watch.
Very separate. But now every incident should be considered separate.
Yes,
but
now
they
this
don't
young lady here, the picture being shown here,
Mm-hmm.
this young lady here, 16 years old, She's a pretty good size 16-year-old, a
Hmm.
good sized woman.
Yeah, she
Period.
ain't missing no meals. She ain't
No,
missing
she
no
ain't missing no
meals.
meals.
Right. She's
She's got a
hmm
that's a butcher knife right there. We're looking at that is a
Thank you. That's
butcher's
serious.
knife,
That's not a butter
and
knife. Right.
that
That's a
ain't a butter
serious
knife.
knife.
She's about to
Mm-mm.
gut that little girl
She about to
in the
fillet.
blue.
She about to fillet that girl. Right.
She about to
Hmm.
fillet her, and the witnesses. But so after that happens, the police shows up. He's there with, they said, 9 seconds. I mean,
Hmm.
what he sees is that girl with that butcher knife about to fillet. I mean, about to gut this one girl, and in hours, without knowing anything, the
Any
all
details. Right.
wise, all knowing, all encompassing wisdom, LeBron James puts
Oh
the
my goodness.
picture of the policeman up and says, "You're next," with an hourglass next to it. Hashtag accountability. LeBron James has
And
spoken,
yeah.
Stephanie. This
Hmm.
guy is guilty and he needs to be held
He
accountable.
he's very dangerous. Now, our
He
dear
is
president was
dangerous.
taken off
He's
of Twitter.
dangerous.
President Trump was taken off of Twitter that said, hold a peaceful march if you go to the Capitol, whatever he said, and we don't need to rehash that. But this
Yeah.
person, a police officer, the headline should have read, Pastor, police officer saves teen
Yes.
girl
And that's
from
what the neighbors
another
are
kid
saying.
with a knife.
That's what the black
Right.
neighbors are
Hmm.
saying.
Yeah.
This guy saved us. She would have killed us.
Right. You know what? It gets me though. If you hear the 911 call, these people couldn't handle the situation. They called the police because they couldn't
We need a
peacefully
police
talk her
officer
down. They
here
did
now. Now.
not now.
She's
And
going to
do you hear
kill
those
us.
idiots? You hear those idiots saying, "Well, why didn't they shoot her in the leg? Are
Shoot her
they
in the leg.
marksmen with
Shoot her in the
20
leg.
seconds to
Yeah.
shoot her in the leg?" Now
People who say that have
what
never
kind
shot a
of
gun in their lives. They've
exactly.
never
That's
shot a
what
gun
they
in their
should be,
lives.
especially those in the media that say that they should be made to instantly go to
Yeah.
some simulator where they're
Yeah.
put in a situation like that. And I bet you they come out of that simulator, they shoot everybody that's moving. They don't even question it because that's how, that police officer wants to go home
Yep.
at the end of the day and be with his family. And we're
Yep.
so happy that people choose to be policemen. But how
Yeah.
long passes before these people will say, I'm not going to be a police officer
They're
because
already
if
they're
I do
already
my
Stephanie.
job.
They're already.
Right. But you've got people like Mayor Lori Lightfoot who will throw you under the bus less than 12
Yep.
hours
Yep.
saying, yeah, they acted stupidly, or here's a
Yep.
number if you felt you were abused by policemen yesterday
Yep.
at the protest, or not
Yep.
protest, at the peaceful gathering,
Yep.
where policemen are getting frozen water bottles, urine, cans thrown at them. And Lori Lightfoot wants to make sure their customer service was up to
Yep.
par. Why would you want to be a police officer in Chicago? For
She
what?
and
I
and,
don't
and
know how they do it.
and how stupid they are. All that's going to do is cause policemen to be less aggressive, to stay in
Yep.
their car more. They're not going to get out of their
Hmm.
cars until they hear actual
No.
gunfire. And who
Yep.
suffers? Blacks in
It's
those
those
dangerous neighborhoods.
neighborhoods.
More
And
blacks
that's
are going to
what
be killed, and more children in black neighborhoods are going to suffer.
policemen get called to these situations. They're
Yes.
just doing their job.
Yes.
They get there, and
Yep.
suddenly they're the bad guys. And in
Yep.
Chicagoland, we all know about Adam Laredo, 13-year-old. They keep saying 13-year-old seventh grader. Well, you're with a known 21-year-old gangbanger at
Three
two
o'clock in
o'clock
the
in the
morning.
morning on
2 o'clock.
school night.
2 o'clock in the
On the
morning.
school night, right? On the school night,
Yeah.
you're not up to any good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And apparently he had been
Yeah.
missing for a couple of days. I mean, this
Mhm.
was a kid. You've got three boys, and they're all over 13. I've got
Yeah.
four over 13. I knew what my 13-year-old boys were.
Yeah.
And if they sneak out the house, they're sneaking out to go be with a girl and hang out with their friends. This guy was out with a
Yeah.
known drug dealer, and this was just, I
Had a
could pivot
firearm.
right to the
Had a
sealed borders. I
firearm.
could seal right to sealing our borders
Yeah.
because that the drug cartels
Yeah.
bringing in stuff up over our borders, and this was this was all part of the whole thing. They
Yeah.
don't understand the drug and violence that
Yeah.
comes across our borders.
Yeah.
And this is just so sad that police officer, even though they were called to the scene because of something called a shot spotter, they know that there were 8 shots fired. They go there, they resist arrest and run. So
Yeah.
there's no question about whether or not these guys are
Yeah.
armed.
Yeah.
The fact that he dropped the gun right before he turned around, well, you know what? That's unfortunate. He
Yeah.
should have had his hands up
Yeah.
from the beginning
Shouldn't have been
and
there
not
at two
run.
o'clock in the morning. Shouldn't have
Shouldn't have
been
been there at
at
2 o'clock
a
in the morning.
legal
Right,
firearm. Shouldn't have been running from the police. But yet, Stephanie,
right.
you're wrong because they're
Yeah,
rioting in
yeah,
Chicago over
yeah,
this police
yeah.
murder,
I mean, oh my
police
goodness.
murder.
Good
Again,
murder.
it's
But
it hurts.
did
It's
you hear
very
that?
disappointing
Mm-hmm.
that blacks again are just being
Are
used as
just
tools
going
and
for the shiny
fools.
object.
Tools and
Yep. And we
fools.
don't even, that's a Hispanic kid, and why are we even getting involved? But
Yeah.
did you hear that the tape of the police officer immediately after he shot that kid? Now they're trained to shoot twice and assess. He shot him once, and they keep painting him as a vicious killer. But he immediately ran over. Hey man, are you here? Where you here? And he calls 911, and he's like, "Stay with me, man. Stay with."
They
This is
don't
the
care. They
sound
don't care,
of the
Stephanie.
adrenaline for him. They don't want to
They
hear
don't
play that
care.
video,
They don't care,
that audio
Stephanie.
of that guy just desperate because he just shot a kid.
No.
He's not happy about that. His
No.
life is lost. He'll never be the same. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking that's just unfortunate that he's being painted as somebody who woke up in the morning, strapped
Yeah.
on his gun, and wanted to
Yeah.
kill a kid because he, as they say, because he was brown.
It's done
That.
because those people hate America and they want to
Yep.
turn America upside down.
Yep.
Be careful.
Just like Obama said.
Be
Yep.
careful what you ask for. Black
Mhm.
people and white liberals who want to turn this country upside down and defund
Yeah.
it. Be careful.
Mhm.
Defund the police. Be careful what you ask. Be
Yeah.
very, very careful. You don't want that. You don't want that. The
You don't by
police.
no means, because you know where
Yeah.
you and I live.
Yeah.
We chose to move to the suburbs,
Yeah.
and things
We're
happen.
gonna be all right out here. Yeah.
We're gonna be okay,
Yeah. We're gonna
right?
be
But
okay.
when it's in those neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and if you talk to those people, but the
Yeah.
media, CNN, MSNBC, they never go to those neighborhoods and interview those people. Because
No.
my mom lives in that neighborhood, and she's just been telling me for years the National Guard needs to come. This is from a black Democrat woman, 72 years old, has
Yeah.
been saying this for 10 years. When's the National Guard going to get here?
Yeah.
When are they going to come
It's
and
so
save us?
sad.
They want more police, not less police.
Yeah, it's sad. But again,
It's
people
really
who hate
sad.
America, they keep this
Hmm.
this police
They have to.
murdering black men. Just
Hmm.
again, listen, people fall for cons. I get it. This is
Yeah.
not even a good con. I
No,
mean,
it's the same one.
you got
They've been doing it
criminals.
forever.
Yeah, criminals. Look, let's riot over a black professional who doesn't have a rap sheet, who is simply going to McDonald's and the police pull him out of his car and shoots him dead on the street. Let's riot. Not people who are breaking the law,
The law.
fighting
Exactly.
police,
It's
breaking out of handcuffs, kicking police with
right.
active
Yeah, resisting
warrants. With
arrest.
active warrants.
Resisting.
Oh
Yeah.
God, just
Yeah. Bad guys with that 20-year-old kid when
ah,
that woman, the police officer, unfortunately pulled a taser instead of
yeah,
a gun.
yeah,
But they were arresting him, putting the cuffs on him. Why couldn't he just? Where are you going? Why are you
yeah,
trying to get in your car and run from police?
yeah,
I don't understand that, but they never
yeah.
talk about those
No,
details.
no,
And I don't know if you saw
no,
Al Sharpton after the verdict. Did you see him crying
no.
and
What was
calling
he
for the
crying for?
resurrection of George Floyd? George, George Floyd. I
Excuse me,
think
the
he's
what?
going
The what of George
the
Floyd?
resurrection, the
What do you mean the
resurrection of
resurrection?
George
He
Floyd.
was trying to
It's,
resurrect George Floyd. Is that what he's saying? What are you saying?
well, one of my favorite things is Nancy Pelosi thanking George
Yeah,
Floyd for
yeah.
sacrificing his
For his
life for justice.
sacrifice. Yeah,
For
BLM went after
sacrificing.
BLM went after her for that. BLM went after that.
Oh, really? Oh, thank
Yeah,
goodness. Okay,
yeah,
they realized that was a
yeah.
step too far
Yeah,
for
step
that.
too far.
But when you say that
But that,
George
but
Floyd
listen,
was more,
Hold on, Stephanie.
uh,
That's what white
uh,
liberals think of blacks. That's
that's
that
true.
she
That's so true.
slipped
We
up.
are a sacrifice.
You are a
Yep, she told us
sacrifice
the truth.
to reach our political
Yep,
ends. Thank you, George Floyd, for
yep.
your
Thank you,
sacrifice.
George. Oh,
She
thank you.
slipped up and told the truth.
And tell the truth.
That's
Yep.
how she can care.
Hmm.
That's how Democrats
She getting
view
senile. She getting
blacks.
old in her old age.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. She's
Uh-huh.
the
Yep.
filter's starting to
Accidentally
slip from
told it.
her too. She's starting to tell the truth. She's starting to tell the
Oh
truth.
yeah, for sure.
All right,
I mean,
Stephanie.
it's just unbelievable.
It
But you
is.
know what? I'm still a proud Black American woman. I've always been
Yes.
proud to be Black. I had no
Yes.
choice because our ancestors just
Yes.
what they went through and what they
Absolutely.
accomplished, so I could be in freedom. But
Absolutely.
I know we're smarter than this.
Yeah.
We can do better than this, and we
Yes.
just need good
Yeah.
American patriots to come out and tell the truth.
Yeah.
But you know what? Look, have you noticed that Joe supporters that told us we had to vote for him, all this foolishness is going on. Suddenly they're just silent. They're not saying anything. I think they're uncomfortable. And
Except
they couldn't
Black
believe
Lives
this
Matter.
man was going to go. Oh
As,
yeah, they're not. Yeah,
as
they're still
crazy as
doubling
they
down on
are,
it,
they're
right?
saying that
Hmm.
Joe Biden is militarizing the black community faster than Trump is. I'm about to do a video on that. They're turning
Oh
on,
wait.
on old Joe because you know why? They're
Oh,
true
let's
Marxists.
hope.
They're true Marxists. They're
Oh
true
yeah, they're
Marxists.
for
They
real.
don't care
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Democrat
they
nor
mhm.
Republican. And let me tell you
Nope,
this. Let me
they're
tell you
gonna mow
this.
down anybody.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have
Go
to
ahead.
bring you back here. Let me see
Hmm.
what Black Lives Matters continue to do. If they keep going after Joe Biden like this, they're going to
Hmm.
force the black community to choose the Black Lives Matters movement or the
Yes.
Democrats.
Over the-
And that will
Yes,
be
yes, yes.
fun to watch.
To watch. They're gonna have their own. I think they're gonna be a political party, the Black Lives Matter party versus the split the vote. Yeah, because you got to be all in with their craziness or you're not. So exactly.
Yeah,
Ooh, this is gonna be. We can sit back and watch with some
yeah.
popcorn and
Get
watch
the
this because this
popcorn.
has nothing
Get the
to do with us.
popcorn.
It's nothing to do with the racist Republicans. We can sit back and just
All
enjoy
right.
the show.
All right, we're out of time. Thanks a lot, Stephanie, once again. We'll have you back soon when Chauvin, whatever his name is, when he's acquitted because of what Maxine Waters said. We'll talk about that. But we'll bring you back soon, all right? Thanks a lot, Stephanie.
My pleasure.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
For such a time as this,